This video will show you how to replace the washer fluid reservoir on a Chrysler Town & Country. This will be located on the passenger side of your engine compartment. Let's get into it. Okay friend, let's get started on our job. Locate the washer fluid reservoir along the passenger side of your engine compartment. We're going to have to make our way deep inside of here. You're going to find you have a washer fluid hose that needs to be disconnected. So now as I make my way down along the reservoir filler neck, I can see that I do have a washer fluid hose down here. What we need to do is carefully tug on this just enough that we can find the joint in between our two washer fluid hoses. Now at this point, I need to carefully separate this. Take hold of each one of the hoses, we'll gently twist, separate the two. There could be washer fluid in this area, just be aware of that. There we are. Now that we have that hose disconnected, we're going to make our way along the other side of the washer fluid reservoir. This is where we can see our power steering reservoir mounting point. We'll use a 13mm to remove the mounting nut. Just a quick inspection of that hardware, we'll set it aside. Now let's take hold of the reservoir. We'll lift it up, bring it across this area, and rest it down in along the front of the engine compartment. Should be able to move that washer fluid reservoir just enough to slide it through. There we go. At this point, let's make our way safely underneath the passenger side front corner of the vehicle. As I make my way under the front passenger side corner of the bumper cover area here, I can see where I do have my washer fluid reservoir. We do have two electrical connectors that need to be disconnected. We'll start with the gray. As far as this is concerned, the gray connector does have a red locking tab. Go ahead and dislodge that. I'm going to be using a small pocket screwdriver, make my way in this area, carefully start pulling it away. Now it can only go so far. Once you've done that, you're going to find that you have a squeezable locking tab, so I'm just going to go ahead and squeeze that in now. We'll pull this whole thing out of place. Just a quick inspection for corrosion there. This looks good. We do have another electrical connector, as I mentioned, right up here. This one's a little different. I'm still using my pocket screwdriver. I'll just try to make my way underneath this locking ear, gently pry, and we should be able to lift this up as necessary. There's that one. Quick inspection. That looks good as well. Now that I have both of those disconnected, we're going to remove two 10mm mounting bolts. You have one on either side of the reservoir. As far as these two 10mm mounting bolts, I'm going to start with the forward bolt. This one over here. Both of those bolts are the same. You do not need to worry about mixing them up. Now that we have those disconnected, let's have a quick look at our washer fluid pump. Now you do have two hoses leading off of it. One of them leads up to the upper portion inside of the engine compartment. The other one leads down this way. Now as you can tell on our particular application, it looks as though our line has been cut and somebody installed a stopper. Typically for this, I would want to disconnect the hose right from the pump right along this area. When you do so, generally washer fluid will make its way out of this area. So if that's the case, you do want to remove this. I'm going to pull it out of the washer fluid reservoir, and now we'll carefully pull it off of the pump. As I mentioned, there could be fluid in here. You want to make sure you have a collection receptacle under this. To remove this hose, you may have to use a small angled pick. There we are. Now once you do remove the hose, you want to, of course, give it a quick inspection. This would still be attached to the vehicle, as I mentioned. For me, I'm just going to go ahead and set it aside. Typically, there would be fluid coming out of this area. Just keep that in mind. With both pieces of hardware out of there, in the area that we had the hardware on each side of the reservoir, you're going to find that you have a locking tab. I'm using a long flat blade screwdriver so I can carefully pry this out and away from the port. Now that I have this one separated, I'm going to do the exact same thing to the other, and we'll carefully pull this down and out of the vehicle. Let's prepare to install our brand new washer fluid reservoir. We have it right next to the original because there is one hose on the washer fluid reservoir pump that we have to remove. We're going to dislodge this. Let's have a quick look along the backside. Now this is where you can see the hose does make its way up and through this channel. We just want to carefully pull it out of place. Make our way along the other side here. At this point, we'll start removing the hose from the washer fluid pump. Generally a quick twist here, pull it out and away. As you remove this, just keep in mind there could still be washer fluid in this area. We'll go ahead and set this one aside. At this point, we can transfer it over to the brand new washer fluid pump. We're just pressing this in. Now let's go ahead and turn this over. We'll have a quick look along the back side of the washer fluid reservoir. We can see that we do have the channel for the hose to go up and through. Go ahead and line it up and press it in all the way up. There we go. Double check to make sure that's secured in place, and now we can get this in the vehicle. Prior to installing the washer fluid reservoir, let's clean and inspect the mounting area. I'm just using a clean rag for this. I don't see any rot. Now, as we start bringing our washer fluid reservoir up into position, we want to be paying attention up along the neck area. That's going to have to carefully slide up inside of the engine compartment. We'll be continuing on with the areas that have the mounting bolt ports and our locking tabs. Those need to fit into their corresponding slots. It looks as though both of my locking tabs are in their corresponding slots, so I'll continue on with my 2 mounting bolts next. We're going to start in each of our 2 mounting bolts. After that, we can snug them both. Let's start this bolt in as well. They're both started in, let's snug them up. Do the same for the other. Double check to make sure that's secured in place. Now it's time for our electrical connectors. Let's start with the top one first. When you go to attach this, you're going to find that there's minimal clearance. You can pivot the pump as necessary. Bring it down, listen for an audible click, double check, make sure it's secured. Let's move along to the next. Now, as far as this electrical connector, as you remember during the removal process, it also has a red locking tab. Once we have this pressed in and secured, we're going to lock it in by pressing this in as well. Audible click, a light tug, lock it in. Now, as you remember during the removal process, we had a second hose that led off of the washer fluid pump. Now, this one did have a small adapter on it. Yours may or may not. We're just going to take this and slide it into place. Now, one last quick inspection in this area and we can make our way back up inside the engine compartment. Now we're up inside the engine compartment. The next thing I like to do is look at my washer fluid reservoir. Now along the top of the washer fluid reservoir, you do have one locating tab. It sticks straight up here. If you were looking at the air filter housing, there's a rubber grommet. That tab should slide up through the center of the grommet. Now as you can see, mine's not properly aligned and it's a little too high. What I'm going to do here is carefully take hold of my box. I'm going to gently lift it up just enough that I can slide this into place under my rubber grommet and press it back down. Now we can wiggle this. As you can tell, it's perfectly aligned and it does not move. Let's continue on with our washer fluid hose down inside this area. So as we look down in this area, you can see that the washer fluid reservoir does have some small tabs for this hose to make its way around. So I'm just carefully bringing it through. Now at this point, I can reconnect the other portion of the hose to this hose. I'll just bring this down. Typically you can slide it in. You may have to use 2 hands. Oh, went right in. Just double check, make sure that's secured in place. Now it's time for that power steering reservoir. We'll just carefully bring this around the washer fluid reservoir. We'll get it in place. We can see where it needs to rest onto. We have a mounting stud. We have our 13mm mounting nut. Start it on, snug it up. Double check to make sure everything's secured in place. Now at this point, it's time to fill the washer fluid reservoir with your preferred washer fluid. Go ahead and open the cap, add the fluid as necessary. Now once you do have it topped off, just go ahead and close that lid. Thanks for watching.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.